Inside the hut, the native doctor examined Amara carefully. She lay on a mat, her skin pale and her breaths shallow. After what seemed like an eternity, he stood up and faced her parents. "I can cure her," he declared, his voice a deep rumble. "But it will come at a great cost." Once upon a time, in the heart of an ancient African village called Aniwaka, nestled among lush green hills and serene rivers, lived a beautiful maiden named Amara. Amara, at 22, was renowned for her unparalleled beauty and kind heart. Her presence was like a beacon of hope and joy to the villagers. However, she had been suffering from a mysterious illness that no healer or remedy could cure. Her parents had tried every possible solution, from herbal concoctions to prayers, but nothing worked. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, a rumor spread through Aniwaka like wildfire. It was said that a native doctor of extraordinary skill and power was passing through neighboring villages. He was reputed to cure the most impossible ailments. Desperate and clinging to the last threads of hope, Amara's parents sent for him. When he arrived, the villagers gathered around to catch a glimpse of the mysterious healer. He was a middle-aged man with piercing eyes that seemed to see through the soul, grey hair that spoke of wisdom, and a staff adorned with ancient symbols. As he approached Amara's home, the air grew tense with anticipation. Inside the hut, the native doctor examined Amara carefully. She lay on a mat, her skin pale and her breaths shallow. After what seemed like an eternity, he stood up and faced her parents. "I can cure her," he declared, his voice a deep rumble. "But it will come at a great cost." Amara's parents, their hearts heavy with desperation, promised the native doctor their daughter in marriage if he could save her. With a solemn nod, he agreed and began his work. Days turned into weeks as the native doctor performed ancient rituals and prepared potent potions. The rituals involved intricate dances, chants, and the use of rare herbs and sacred objects. The villagers often watched in awe from a distance, witnessing the power of the native doctor. One particular night, under the full moon, he performed a ritual that would later be talked about for generations. He stood in the center of the village square, surrounded by a circle of fire. His chants were deep and resonant, echoing through the hills. As he danced, his shadow flickered against the huts, creating a mystical aura. The villagers watched in silence, their faces illuminated by the firelight as his movements became more frenetic, culminating in a sudden, powerful silence as he fell to his knees. Slowly, signs of recovery began to appear. Amara's skin regained its color, her strength returned, and she could sit up and speak. The villagers watched in awe as the miracle unfolded. The native doctor's presence brought a sense of mystery and reverence to the village, as whispers of his past exploits and mystical abilities spread. However, as Amara regained her health, the native doctor revealed the true nature of the cost. One evening, as the village gathered to celebrate Amara's recovery, he called for silence. "Amara is cured," he announced, "but she must never be exposed to full daylight again. The curse that once held her captive will return with greater fury if she does." The villagers gasped, and Amara's parents nodded solemnly. They understood the gravity of the situation but were grateful for their daughter's life. Life returned to a semblance of normalcy in Aniwaka. Amara adapted to her new reality, venturing outside only at dawn or dusk, always under the protective shade of her home during the day. Her parents watched over her diligently, and the native doctor stayed close, fulfilling his role as both protector and healer. The village elders held a special council to discuss the new reality of Amara's life. It was decided that a canopy of large, leafy branches would be constructed around her home, providing a permanent shade that would allow her to move about more freely within a limited area. This task became a community effort, with every villager contributing their time and resources. Amara found solace in the beauty of the early mornings and the tranquility of the evenings. She became more attuned to the subtle changes in nature, noticing the way the light shifted through the trees, the songs of the birds, and the gentle rustling of the leaves. She developed a routine, spending her mornings in the garden her father had planted for her and her evenings by the river, where she could watch the sunset without fear. During this period, Amara developed a deep friendship with the village storyteller. He would visit her daily, sharing tales of the past and legends of the land. These stories provided Amara with a sense of connection to the outside world and filled her days with wonder and imagination. One evening, as they sat by the river, the storyteller shared a particularly intriguing story about a hidden cave in the hills that was said to hold ancient secrets. The cave, according to legend, could grant visions of the future to those who entered with a pure heart. "Do you believe it's real?" Amara asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. The storyteller smiled. "Legends often have a kernel of truth, Amara. Sometimes they are just waiting for the right person to uncover them." One evening, as the sun dipped low, Amara found herself alone near the edge of the village. She gazed longingly at the horizon, where the last rays of sunlight painted the sky in hues of gold and crimson. Lost in thought, she stepped out from under the protective canopy of trees. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was a stranger, someone Amara had never seen before. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice trembling. The stranger smiled, his eyes glinting with a mixture of curiosity and malice. "I am here to see the girl who defied the curse." Amara's heart raced. She turned to run back to safety, but the stranger's words echoed in her mind. What did he know about the curse? And why did his presence fill her with such dread? As she hurried back, she couldn't shake the feeling that something terrible was about to happen. The village was now under a new threat, and the answer to her questions lay in the mysterious stranger who had just arrived. The next day, the stranger, who introduced himself as a wandering merchant, made his presence known in the village. He claimed to be a wandering merchant, but his eyes and demeanor suggested he was much more. He began to ingratiate himself with the villagers, offering rare and exotic goods in exchange for stories and information. Amara watched from the safety of her shaded home as the merchant moved through the village. She felt a growing sense of unease, particularly when she noticed him speaking in hushed tones with some of the elders. One night, as the village slept, Amara heard a soft knock on her window. Peering out, she saw the merchant standing there, his face partially hidden by the shadows. "May I speak with you, Amara?" he asked, his voice smooth and persuasive. Reluctantly, she nodded and stepped outside, careful to stay within the protective canopy. The merchant looked at her with a mixture of admiration and something else she couldn't quite place. "You are truly remarkable," he began. "I've heard the stories of your illness and miraculous recovery, but I believe there is more to your story than the villagers know." Amara felt a chill run down her spine. "What do you mean?" The merchant leaned closer. "I have traveled far and wide, and I have encountered many who possess unique abilities. Your condition, this curse, might be more than just a burden. It could be a gift." Over the next few days, the merchant continued to visit Amara, each time revealing more of his knowledge and intentions. He spoke of ancient powers and hidden truths, hinting that Amara's curse might be linked to a greater destiny. One evening, he made a bold proposition. "Join me, Amara. Together, we can uncover the secrets of your curse and unlock its true potential. You were meant for more than this secluded life." Amara was torn. Part of her longed for adventure and the possibility of a greater purpose, but another part of her feared the unknown and the risks involved. Confused and anxious, Amara decided to confide in the native doctor. She found him meditating by the river, his presence as calming as ever. "Native doctor," she began hesitantly. "There is a man in the village, the merchant. He claims that my curse might be a gift and that I have a greater destiny. He wants me to leave with him to uncover the truth." The native doctor's eyes opened slowly, his gaze thoughtful. "The merchant is not to be trusted, Amara. There are many who seek to exploit the gifts of others for their own gain. Your life and your future are not for him to decide." Amara felt a surge of relief, but also a lingering doubt. But what if he's right? What if there is more to my curse? The native doctor placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "The answers you seek cannot be found by following a stranger into the unknown. They lie within you and the connections you have here. Trust in yourself and in those who truly care for you." As the days passed, tensions in the village began to rise. The merchant's presence had stirred up old fears and suspicions, and whispers of dark magic and hidden agendas spread like wildfire. The villagers, once united in their support for Amara, now seemed divided. One night, a violent storm swept through Aniwaka, uprooting trees and flooding the riverbanks. As lightning flashed and thunder roared, Amara felt a growing sense of foreboding. She knew that something terrible was about to happen. In the midst of the storm, Amara's mother fell gravely ill. Her condition deteriorated rapidly, and it became clear that she needed urgent help. Desperate and heartbroken, Amara turned to the native doctor once more. "Native doctor, please," she begged, tears streaming down her face. "You saved me. Can you save my mother too?" The native doctor's expression was pained. "The rituals I performed for you came at a great cost, Amara. They required a balance of forces that cannot be easily replicated, but there may be another way." He explained that there was a powerful talisman, hidden in the depths of the cursed forest beyond the village. The talisman held the power to heal, but retrieving it was fraught with danger. Many who had ventured into the forest had never returned. Determined to save her mother, Amara made a decision. She would venture into the cursed forest and retrieve the talisman no matter the cost. Before leaving, Amara gathered a small group of trusted friends, including the village storyteller and a brave hunter named Obi. Together, they set out into the cursed forest, armed with only their courage and a few supplies. The forest was dense and foreboding, its twisted trees blocking out the moonlight. Strange sounds echoed through the underbrush, and the air was thick with an eerie silence. As they ventured deeper, Amara felt the weight of her curse pressing down on her, but she pushed forward, determined to save her mother. After hours of navigating the treacherous terrain, they reached a clearing where the talisman was said to be hidden. It was guarded by a massive ancient tree with gnarled roots and glowing symbols etched into its bark. As they approached the tree, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was the guardian of the talisman, a spectral being with eyes that glowed like embers. The guardian spoke in a voice that resonated with the power of the forest itself. "Who dares to seek the talisman?" it demanded. Amara stepped forward, her voice steady despite her fear. "I am Amara. I seek the talisman to save my mother." The guardian's gaze bore into her, as if searching her soul. "The talisman is not given freely. To take it, you must prove your worthiness. You must face your deepest fears and confront the darkness within." The ground beneath Amara's feet trembled, and she found herself standing in a vast, shadowy realm. Around her, ghostly figures whispered and swirled, representing her fears and doubts. She saw visions of her illness, the pain it caused her family, and the burden of her curse. But she also saw moments of strength and resilience, the support of her friends, the love of her parents, and the wisdom of the native doctor. Drawing on these memories, Amara confronted each shadow, dispelling them with her inner light. The trial seemed to last an eternity, but finally, the shadows receded, and Amara stood victorious. The guardian reappeared, its expression one of solemn respect. "You have proven yourself worthy," it said. "The talisman is yours." With the talisman in hand, Amara and her companions made their way back to the village. They arrived to find her mother on the brink of death, her breaths shallow and labored. Amara placed the talisman on her mother's chest and whispered a prayer. A soft, golden light enveloped her mother, and her breathing steadied. Slowly, her eyes fluttered open, and she looked at Amara with a mixture of confusion and relief. "Amara," she whispered. Tears of joy streamed down Amara's face. "Yes, mother, I'm here." The village erupted in celebration as news of her mother's miraculous recovery spread. The storm had passed, and the bonds of the community were stronger than ever. Despite the joy and relief, Amara knew that the threat of the merchant still loomed. Determined to protect her village and uncover the truth, she confronted him one last time. "You came to our village with hidden intentions," she said, her voice firm. "You spoke of powers and destinies, but your true motives were selfish." The merchant's expression hardened. "You are perceptive, Amara. Yes, I sought to harness your curse for my own gain, but you have proven stronger than I anticipated." With a wave of his hand, the merchant summoned dark energies that swirled around him like a storm. Amara stood her ground, drawing on the strength of her experiences and the support of her friends and family. As the battle ensued, Amara remembered the wisdom of the native doctor and the courage she had shown in the cursed forest. She focused her energy, channeling it into a powerful light that dispelled the merchant's darkness. With a final resounding shout, Amara banished the merchant from the village, his form dissipating into the night. The villagers cheered, their spirits lifted by the bravery of their beloved maiden. With the threat of the merchant gone and her mother healed, Amara's life took on new meaning. She embraced her role as a protector and leader in the village, using her experiences to inspire and guide others. The native doctor remained a close mentor, and together they explored the mysteries of Amara's curse, uncovering its true nature as a source of strength and resilience. Amara's friendship with the storyteller deepened, and she continued to find solace in the stories and legends that connected her to her heritage. As the years passed, Amara's story became a legend in its own right, a tale of courage, sacrifice, and the power of community. The villagers of Aniwaka would tell her story for generations, a reminder that even in the face of darkness, the light within can guide the way.